Hello, baseball fans. King Ikeboo coming to you live from the underground bunker deep beneath Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, where today we are going to play the Sweet 16 of the Kansas City Madness Tournament. This is Series 1 of 8 of the Sweet 16s, and we will play today between the 1995 Kansas City Royals, who are the 17th seed. Their real record was 70-74, and they won their first round in the play-in against 1992, the 16th seed, 2-0. They won the first game 5-4 in 18 innings. They were down 3-0 in the ninth, and they scored 3 to tie, and then the game went on for 17 innings before anybody scored. Both teams scored in the 17th, and then the 95s scored in the 18th to win, and then they won Game 2 by a score of 6-2. They will face the number 1 seed, the 1980 Kansas City Royals. Their real record was 97-65. In King Ikeboo's replay of the 80s, they were third place, 9.5 games back with an 82-80 record. Now this, and why I'm recording this, is because the last 4 number 1 seeds in the Seattle tournament, 1995 was the number 1 seed. 1996, Texas was the number 1 seed. The 1995, Cleveland was the number 1 seed. And the 1993, Philadelphia were all number 1 seeds, and they all were eliminated in this round. The last 4 Sweet 16, the first one is Minnesota, 1991. They survived this round, and they got eliminated in the Elite Eight. And then the second tournament was the Cubs. 1984 were the number 1 seeds, and they won the championship of the Cubs. So they're the only number 1 seeds who have won their tournament. And the last 4, Seattle, Texas, Cleveland, and Philadelphia, have all been eliminated in this Sweet 16 round. So will we have another number 1 seed go down? The 1980 Royals, will they go down to the 1995 Royals here today? That's why the world is watching. The 1995 Royals, their starting pitchers, Game 1 will be Mark Gubicza. In real life, he was 12-14, 375. Game 2, Kevin Appier, 15-10, 389. And Game 3, Flash Gordon, 12-12, 443. That's a pretty good 1-2-3 starting pitching for 95. And they have a decent offensive lineup, so they just have a very below average bullpen, I would say. And that's probably what puts them at a 17th seed. For the number 1 seed, the 1980s, Larry Gura will go in Game 1. He's 18-10, 295. Game 2, Dennis Leonard, 20-11, 379. And Game 3, Paul Splitor, 14-11, 415. And I don't rank them best pitcher to worst. All I do is take the top 3 starting pitchers by innings pitched, and they just get ranked that way, and that's how we determine who's number 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go through the lineups for you. Game 1 starters, Mark Gubicza in Game 1 of the play-in round. He did not get the decision, went 18 innings, but he had a 1.80 ERA. And here we'll face Larry Gura. He, of course, his first play in this tournament, 1980 Gura. First time he's appeared, because the first game they played. And in the 80s replay, he was 19-10, 342. Pretty similar to what he did in real life. ERA was half a run higher. So we are going to play this game now, and let's introduce to you the 1995 Kansas City Royal lineup. Leading off and playing center field, Tom Goodwin. Batting second, the second baseman, Keith Lockhart. Batting third, the first baseman, Wally Joyner. Batting fourth, the third baseman, Gary Gaetti. Batting fifth, the right fielder, John Nunnally. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Johnny Damon. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Greg Gagne. Batting eighth, the DH, Michael Tucker. And batting ninth, the catcher, Brent Main. And as we said, starting pitcher Mark Gubicza. We'll introduce to you the 1980 Kansas City Royals when they appear on the bottom of the first. So let's get this one underway. Here is Gura. He is an grade 8 Q1 pitcher. He throws left-handed. He's a CZ and a DP minus. That was good enough for a 3.42 ERA in 1980 replay. Here's the pitch to Goodwin. He is batting .333, 429, 333. I think the leading hitter, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to mark this down, just record it for posterity. The leading hitter going in, I always put is Keith Lockhart. That's who, well, Gaetti probably is. So we'll just mark this down. Leading hitter, Gary, I usually mark this Gary Gaetti. And I'm just going to put this over here so I can not switch screens. Gary Gaetti, 333/385/917 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs. Just to record that, so keep that for safekeeping. All right, now we're ready to go. Here's the first pitch for Tom Goodwin. He's batting .333, 429 on base, .333 slugging. And here's the pitch to Tom Goodwin from Larry Gura. It is a strikeout. Good start for Gura. Here's Keith Lockhart. He's batting .357, no homers, 4 RBIs in 2 games. Pretty good. He was the player of the game for Game 1 as he drove in the winning run in the 18th inning. Here's the pitch to Lockhart. And he strikes out. 2 strikeouts for Gura. Not known for a strikeout pitcher, but he has 2 strikeouts to start this game. Here's Wally Joyner batting .167. No homers, 1 RBI. Off to a bit of a slow start in this tournament. Here's the pitch to Wally World. Walk! Can he try to steal? No. Here's Gaetti, their leading hitter. .333, 2 homers, 4 RBIs. He had 2 homers. He was the player of the game in Game 2 of the opening round against 1992. Here's Gaetti. He has 1 ball. He gets another roll. Here's a second roll. He strikes him out. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Gura. And that's the end of the first half inning for 1995. As promised, we will introduce to you the 1980 Kansas City Royals, a team that went to the World Series, lost in 6 games to the Philadelphia Phillies. Leading off, he had a really bad World Series. Hopefully he'll have a very good tournament here. Leading off in center field, Willie Wilson. Batting second, Mr. Toothpick, the shortstop, UL Washington. Batting third, Mr. Everything, Mr. Royal. In third, batting third, George Brett, the Hall of Famer. Batting fourth, the left fielder, Hal McRae. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Willie Mays Aikens. Batting sixth, the DH, Clint Hurdle. Batting seventh, the catcher, John Wathen. Batting eighth, the right fielder, Amos Otis. And batting ninth, the second baseman, Frank White. And he got to be a better hitter as the 80s went along. And I think he had some years as cleanup behind Brett, but not in 1980s, batting ninth. Here's the pitch to Willie Wilson. Of course, it's his first, as all the 80s, their first appearances in this tournament. So they have no record, no batting record. Here's the pitch to Willie Wilson. He grounds out to shortstop, or the third baseman, Gaetti, for the first out. Here's UL Washington. And he gets a base hit, the first base hit of this game. He's going to try to steal. Sure, why not? 32, doesn't get the jump. Here's George Brett. George Brett in 1980 batted .390. He famously was the first man going for 400 since Ted Williams. And for a while he was above 400, but then he tapered off and he was hurt a lot that year. He missed something like 40 games, but he still won the batting title with a .390 batting average. He had 24 home runs and 118 RBIs, probably his greatest season. And he has a man on here. Here's the pitch to George Brett. He strikes out. First strikeout for Gubicza. Here's Hal McRae. McRae in real life, .297 with 14 homers and 83 RBIs. Here's the pitch to McRae. He hits into a fielder's choice to end the inning. After one inning, it's scoreless. Here's John Nunnally. Nunnally is 0 for 12 in this tournament. In real life, he batted .244 with 14 homers and 42 RBIs. Here's the pitch to Nunnally. And he grounds out to the first baseman, who tosses over to Gura to get the out. First baseman, of course, is Willie Mays Aikens. Here's Johnny Damon. He's batting .182. In real life, Johnny Damon batted .282 with 3 homers and 23 RBIs in a part-time role. But Vince Coleman was traded. He started with the Royals that season, but he was traded halfway through the season. He was traded to who was he traded to? Seattle. And that's why Johnny Damon is in the starting lineup. Here's the pitch to Damon. He's batting .182. When I switch screens, I have to hit it manually. He flies out to right fielder. Right fielder for the Royals is Amos Otis, and that's the second out. Here's Greg Gagne. Greg Gagne, .256, 6 homers, 49 RBIs. In this tournament so far, he's batting .444. And he grounds out as well. Bottom of the second, Willie Aikens. Switching screens over here, so that means I hit this here. Willie Aikens, he batted .278 with 20 homers and 98 RBIs. And he flies out to left. Left fielder is Johnny Damon for the first out. Here's Clint Hurdle. Hurdle batted .294 with 10 homers and 60 RBIs. And he gets a base hit. Now, why is a 2.6 a base hit? That's because Gubicza is below 7. So the result is changed on a 12, is changed to a single. So Clint Hurdle, can he try to steal it? He cannot. Here's John Wathan. Wathan batted .305 with 6 homers and 58 RBIs, and time split with Darryl Porter. Here's the pitch to Wathan. Oh, that was out. I thought it was an out, and then Amos Otis went out. We didn't get a chance to talk to him. But after 2 innings, it's still scoreless. Here's Michael Tucker. Michael Tucker batted .260 with 4 homers and 17 RBIs. That's because Bob Hamlin and him were split at the DH, and that's why Tucker is starting. Here's Tucker, .286 in the tournament. Gets double ones, 21. That is a double. Leadoff double for Michael Tucker. Here's Brent Main, who batted .251 with a homer and 27 RBIs. He's batting .273 with 1 RBI in this tournament. Here's the pitch to Brent Main. He gets double threes. 64. That is a double. Back-to-back doubles. And the number 1 seed is down here in game 1. And Brent Main is on second base. We'll put the brakes on Main. Here's Tom Goodwin. He struck out first time up. And he fouls out to Brett for the first out of the inning. Here's Lockhart. Lockhart struck out. Here's the pitch to Lockhart. Single. Infield single. We have the brakes on Main. And if it was F, he would have scored, but he's an S. So didn't matter. Either way, it's the same. First and third now. 1 out for Wally Joyner. Joyner walked first time up. 95s have a chance for more runs. Here's the pitch. Flied out. It's a short, but he's a slow runner, so he held. Willie Wilson has an average arm, but it held Maine, and now there's 2 out. Here's Gaetti. Gaetti struck out first time up, and he flies out. But the 95s get the first run of the game. They're leading 1-0. Here's Frank White. Frank White is the 9th place hitter. In real life, he batted .264 with 7 homers and 60 RBIs. Not bad from the 9th spot. Here's the pitch to Frank White. Flied out. Willie Wilson grounded out first time. He has a ball. He gets another roll. And he grounds out to the pitcher for the second out. Here's Washington. He singled. And he grounded out. 1, 2, 3. Go the 80s. After 3 complete. 1-0 1995. Here's Nunnally. Ground to first time out. Up. He gets a base hit. He will not try to steal. Johnny Damon. Flied out. time he hits into fielder's choice. He's probably a good chance to steal. Here's this. He doesn't get the jump. He rolled a 482 and needed 22 or less. It's Greg Gagne. Ground to Brett first time up. He flies out to center field for the second out. Here's Tucker. Tucker doubled and scored in the third inning. And he flies out to center field this time after 3.5, 1-0, 95s. George Brett struck out first time. He grounds out this time. Hal McRae ground out first time. Pops out this time. Willie Aikens flied out. And he pops out this time. So Gubicza is pitching well. 4 complete, 1-0, 1995. Here's Brent Main. He doubled and drove in the only run of the game in the third inning. And he gets a strike. Brent Main again. Grounds out to the shortstop, UL Washington, for the first out. Here's Tom Goodwin. He's 0 for 2. Grounds out to the pitcher for the second out. Keith Lockhart is 1 for 2 with a single. And he flies out. So now Gubicza is down to a D. He has to pitch until he gives up a run. King Ikibu rules. That's the way I do it. None of this. It's a reaction towards, well, how they play today. A guy's pitching a shutout and they take him out in the 5th inning. No, that ode to the old school. Guys have to stay in until they give up a run. I played something like 14,000 games that way, and that's the way I will continue. Here's the pitch from Gubicza to Clint Hurdle. And there's that rule again. I think that's how Clint Hurdle singled before. He's on. And I don't think he can try to steal. Nope. He has no stolen base attempts in real life. Here's Wathan. Flied out last time up. Here's the pitch to Wathan. He gets a base hit. 2 men on. Wathan is a slow runner. We will put the brakes on Wathan. Here is Amos Otis. In real life, Amos Otis batted .316. No, he didn't. He batted .251 with 10 homers and 53. He was the franchise early in the 70s, but he was tapering off now in 1980. Here's the pitch from Amos Otis from Gubicza with nobody out here in the 5th. He pops out. Here's Frank White. He flew out to center field first time up. 2 men on. Fly out again. Okay, we're going to allow him to score in a double. Here's Willie Wilson. And he strikes out. So after 5 complete, and Gubicza gets out of the jam. First and second, nobody out. And it's still 1-0, 1995. Gura, there's no reason to take him out. He's still going strong. Here's Wally Joyner. He walked and flew out. He struck out this time. That's strikeout number 4 for Gura. Here is Gaetti 0 for 2. Fouled out. And Nunnally is 1 for 2 with a single. He walked this time. No, he won't try to steal. We checked before. Here's Johnny Damon 0 for 2. Reached on a fielder's choice last time up. And he flies out the end of the inning. Gubicza still has to be in there. He now has a 0.90 ERA in the tournament. Here's Washington. He's 1 for 2. Ground out. Here's Brett. He needs to get something going. No, that's the worst roll in baseball. 1-2. He grounds out. Here's McRae. He reaches on an error. He will try to steal. He gets the stolen base. He's in scoring position for Aikens. 0 for 2. Gubicza tired. Here's the pitch to Willie Aikens. Struck him out to end the 6th inning. And after 6 complete, it's 1995 1, 1980 nothing. Here's Gura again. He's going to face the bottom of the order. Gagne, Tucker, and Main. We can take out people if we want. I think Main is the only catcher on the lineup. Let's see. I'll just check this one. You got Edgar Caceres. Raise your hand if you remember Edgar. Bob Hamlin, the other designated hitter. He's not very good. Phil Hyatt. He is not very good. Dave Howard. He is a decent backup infielder. He can play multiple positions, including outfield. So does it pay? I don't know. It's not. It doesn't pay to bring him in for Gagne. Lockhart's probably better, although he's a slightly better fielder than Lockhart. And we're not going to take Gaetti out. No, he's not even a third baseman. We're not going to take out Joyner. and doesn't really pay to take him out there. So maybe for Tucker. And probably the guy that comes in for Tucker is Joe Vitiello. He's a pretty decent power guy. That's what they have on the bench. So here is Greg Gagne. No reason with his 8 shortstop to take him out. And he's going to have a chance at an error. 35, no error, 1 away. Pop out to the second baseman. So Tucker he's better on base percentage. Not as good slugging as Vitiello. So we'll leave him in to try to get on base. Here's the pitch to Tucker. Ground out. They must be decent. They are 41, yes. You can tell because on 5-3, a lot of times that's an error, but because the 1980 Royals have a 41 defense, so they did not commit an error there. Here's Brent Mayne, the only catcher in their lineup. He's got to stay in there, but he's been doing well. He's driven in the only run of the game. Here in the top of the 7th, 2 out. Brent Mayne, single for Mayne. He's going to put the brakes on Mayne, but he can score on a double. Here's Goodwin. And he struck him out. That is strikeout number 5 for Gura. After 6.5, 1995 still leads by that 1-0 score. And Gubicza has to stay in, as we've talked about. Here's Hurdle. He's reached twice on singles on that because he's lower than a 6 or 7 singles. Here's the pitch to Clint Hurdle. This time he's out. Ground to short to Gagne for the first out. Here's Wathan. He's 1 for 2. Ground out to short again. Here's Amos Otis. Flied outs through 7 completed. Still 1-0. Doesn't feel like the 80s have even threatened in this game. They just threatened that one time. They had 2 men on and Gubicza got out of it. Here's Lockhart. He's a very good hitter. Ground out. Joyner. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. Struck out again. Here's Gaetti. 0 for 3. Double for Gaetti. We will not put any... Well, we'll prevent him from stealing the base. There's no reason for him to steal third base. Here's John Nunnally. He is 1 for 2 with a walk. And we'll pitch, or should we put him on for Damon? We'll just pitch to him. It's a walk. An unintentional, intentional walk. Here's Johnny Damon. He is 0 for 3. And he flies out the threat. Here's a bottom the 8th. Gubicza still going strong. Let's see the backups for the Royals. The 80 Royals. Dave Chalk. He is a second baseman. He is quite the defensive downgrade from 9 to 5. That will take them out of defense 1. He is probably a better hitter, though. But we won't do that now. Pete Lecoq. He's no good. Rance Mullenix. He is average at best. Darryl Porter. He's a slow runner, but he can get on base. And Jamie Quirk. So really not a great bench for the 80s. Might as well stay with White. Here's the pitch to Frank White. Gets a base hit. Can he steal? He will try. 34. Doesn't get the jump. Always nervous. Here's Willie Wilson. He is 0 for 3. He's playing just like he did in the 1980 World Series. Not getting hits. He was the leader. He had, how many hits did he have in 1980? He had 230 hits. Didn't even lead the league. He had 230 hits. Who led the league? I can't look right now. So, Willie Wilson, 230 hits. Can he get one now? Here's the pitch. He's tired. He gives up hits on everything, but they just can't roll. Here's the pitch to Willie Wilson. It's a fielder's choice. So that's the way he has to reach, is by a fielder's choice. He's going to try to steal. Gets the jump, and he steals the base. Willie Wilson, who had, 79 stolen bases. And in the replay, he had 111 stolen bases. And he gets his first stolen base of the tournament. He's in scoring position for UL Washington. Washington is 1 for 3. Any kind of base hit should score Wilson. Here's the pitch. Ground out. Second out now. Willie Wilson's at third. They are going to intentionally walk George Brett. Put the go-ahead run on to face Hal McRae with 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th. The fans boo. They don't like when George Brett gets walked. But it's probably the logical thing here. Here's the pitch to Hal McRae. Double sixes. Gubicza's last batter. What will we see? Of course, if that was George Brett, it's probably a home run. We'll check that. 6-6, but we will see. McRae still has quite a few home runs on his card. 56, that is a double. With 2 out, that could score George Brett from first. It does. It scores George Brett from first. They put him on. But we'll look at George Brett to see what it would he have. If it was a 6-6, it would be an automatic homer. So it's the same outcome. Whether we put him on, 2-run score, or let Brett hit, it would have been a 2-run homer. So it's 2-1. 1980s, the number 1 seed is up 2-1 here in the 8th inning. And that's it for Gubicza. He can be relieved now. Here are the relievers. We talked about Apier. He is a starting pitcher tomorrow, as well as Flash Gordon. The closer is Jeff Montgomery. So all the other pitchers are eligible to bring in. Billy Brewer, who's bad. Mel Bunch, who's bad. Chris Haney, he's not bad. Jason Giacomo, bad. Mike Magnante, good. Rusty Meacham, not very good. And Hippolito Pichardo is decent. We're bringing Rusty Meacham. Rusty Meacham is coming in. Just has to get through 1 inning or 1 batter. That's why he's a 4-3, doesn't walk anybody. He'll be a C for 3 batters. So here's Willie Mays Aikens. We're not going to put him on. We're going to pitch to him. And here's the pitch to Willie Aikens. It's black E, not evaluated. What would that mean? It's a strikeout. Gets out of the inning. So that will mean Larry Gura is also now tired. He was actually tired and got Damon out. Didn't notice that. That's bad managing. But now we have a chance to bring in the quiz. Dan Quisenberry is coming in for the save chance. Quisenberry is an 8-1 CZZH. In real life, Quisenberry had a 3.09 ERA, 12-7, 33 saves. In the replay, Quisenberry was 3-8, 386, 23 saves, 9 blown saves. This was not the best year for Quisenberry, but he is the closer. And he's going to face the bottom of the lineup for the 95s. He's going to start with Greg Gagne. Now, so we're going to bring in somebody. You have to go all to the wall now. So Greg Gagne, Howard 310, Gagne 316. He's still better. 317, but doesn't really pay for 1/100th of an on-base percentage to take him out. He's not good. He's not good. He's not good. So he's going to stay in, and he is going to bat for himself against Quisenberry. Here's the pitch. 2 balls on Gagne. So that should have been a walk, but the fact that Quisenberry is a double Z makes it 2 balls on the batter. If it would have been just a Z, he would have walked anyway. Here's a second pitch or second roll for Greg Gagne. And he grounds out. So instead of a walk, Quisenberry takes away the leadoff runner. Here's Michael Tucker. He's better than all the others in getting on base. He will bat for himself. He's doubled and scored. He's 1 for 3. Here's the pitch to Michael Tucker. Fouls out. And we really can't take out Brent Main. He has no catchers on the bench to relieve him. So he's going to stay in there. He is 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI. Last chance for the 95s. Here's the pitch. He gets on with a base hit. We can't take him out for a pinch runner either. We will make sure he doesn't steal. We'll make sure that he does try to score on a double. Here's Tom Goodwin. Do we take him out? He's a great fielder. But who do we take him out for? Like we said, the only guy is this guy. He has more power, but he plays only first base. We could take him out, and then we could bring in somebody to play center field. That would either be Hyatt or Howard. Both of them are not very good fielders. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to bring in power hitter. They want a double. That's what they're looking for. In fact, if they roll 6-6, he's going to get a home run. Except for the fact that Quisenberry has major voodoo with an H. Here is the pitch to Joe Vitiello. Joe Vitiello, let's look him up. Joe Vitiello had 142 plate appearances. He batted .254 with 7 homers and 21 RBIs. So he was on pace probably to hit about 28 home runs that year. So he's a decent guy to have up in this situation. Here is the pitch to Joe Vitiello. Double ones. He has a home run. Now it's up to the voodoo. It's up to the voodoo. First gatekeeper. 11-43. Here's the roll. 52. It stands. Joe Vitiello hits a home run. Quisenberry has blown the save. He is down to a D. Holy cow. The 95s take the lead in the top of the 9th. It's 2 out. He's in error. So now we got to pull Quisenberry. Okay, who are we going to bring in? We're going to bring in, this guy is dreadful, Jeff Twitty. Splittorff is the third game starter. Marty Patton, Rennie Martin, Rich Gale. Dennis Letter pitches tomorrow. Rich Gale. Raleigh Eastwick, he's bad. Gary Christensen, not the best bullpen here. We're going to bring in Steve Busby to get one batter out. Here's Joyner. Joyner struck out twice, flied out, and walked. Lockhart will try to steal, doesn't get the jump. Here's the pitch. He walks. Gary Gaetti. He is 1 for 4. They're looking for some insurance. He got 2 men on. This is with 2 out. The error kept the inning going. Washington is the GOAT. Well, Quisenberry is the main GOAT, but the nanny is UL Washington. Here is the pitch to Gary Gaetti. And he struck out the end of the inning. Vitiello only plays first base. So Vitiello, he will come out of the game, and we will bring in Phil Hyatt to play center field. He has a good arm. That's all you can say about him. So now we're going to bring in the closer for the 95s. That is Jeff Montgomery. Jeff Montgomery. How many saves does he have in? No, he doesn't have any saves, I don't think. Nope, but he won. Did he win? Yeah, he won game 1 as he pitched 3 innings. He pitched the 16th, 17th, and 18th innings in game 1 of the play-in tournament against 92s, and now he's looking for his first save. 1-0, 3 ERA. And the 80s will bring up the bottom of their order. Now, do they have... Okay, Hurdle. We're not going to pull him. He's a good hitter. Here's the pitch from Jeff Montgomery to Clint Hurdle. Ground out for the first out. Here's Wathen. He's good at getting on base. Here is the pitch to John Wathen. He is 1 for 3 today. Strikeout. Amos Otis. Okay, is there anybody worthwhile bringing in? Amos Otis, 316. We got Rance Molyneux is fast. They don't have any outfielder. Okay, they got Pete Lecoq, who's a poor outfielder. And Jamie Quirk can play the outfield. But he's poor as well. But we need to get on base. So we're going to bring in Darryl Porter to try to get on base here. That's all we're looking to do. They did damage with 2 out. Can the 80s do damage? They're down 3-2. The number 1 seed, the Graveyard. for the number 1 seeds, it looks like it may continue as they could go down in game 1. Here is the pitch from Montgomery. He grounds out weakly to the pitcher, and the game is over. The 1995 Royals upset the number 1 seed, the 1980 Royals, by a score of 3-2. They still have a chance. They still have games 2 and 3, but the 80 Royals have to win both those games or they will be eliminated like the last 4 number 1 seeds before them. The winning pitcher is Rusty Meacham. He pitched the 3rd of the inning, got the last out, and got the win. And Dan Quisenberry is the loser. Jeff Montgomery got the save. The hero of the game will be Joe Vitiello, who came in and hit a pinch hit 2-run homer in the top of the 9th to defeat the number 1 seed 1980s. So the final score once again, 1995, 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 10 left on base. And the 1980s, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, and 6 left on base. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to bring to you this game 1. So this is King Ichaboo signing off with Tiny Archibald from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.